Greetings, truth seekers, freedom fighters, and curious minds across the world. Welcome to Oracle News Network. First up, whispers on the street have turned into a roar. Major resignations are rocking the CDC. Insiders are reporting that some top officials didn't exactly resign. They were shown the door. A mix of internal policy disputes and, if you believe the underground chatter, a cover-up after what sources are calling a terror attack at a CDC facility last month. While the mainstream media stays silent, whistleblowers are raising red flags. If the guardians of public health are being pushed out like pawns, who's really calling the shots behind the scenes, and how safe are we, really? Project Esther, once dismissed as conspiracy theory, is now gaining traction in alternative media circles. This alleged government operation is said to involve surveillance, population control measures, and psychological manipulation. With the rumors of martial law in Washington, D.C., and escalating tensions across the globe, this is starting to sound less like a theory and more like a playbook. Meanwhile, Mother Nature, or whoever's running the simulation, isn't letting up. Earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, entire towns wiped out overnight. Coincidence or a wake-up call? While the world is distracted by disasters, one of the biggest scandals of our time continues to vanish in plain sight: the Epstein files. We're talking about thousands of pages of evidence implicating some of the most powerful people on Earth. Vanished, gone, like they were never there. Why isn't the mainstream media screaming about this every day? Why is justice always delayed when billionaires and power players are involved, side through stained glass windows? Switching to a heartbreaking tragedy in Minneapolis. On August 27th, Annunciation Catholic Church. Terror nonetheless. Casualties were devastating. 2 children killed, 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky, and 18 others wounded, 15 children and 3 elderly parishioners. Many were injured but are expected to survive. Police found 116 rifle rounds and shotgun shells at the scene. Westman ended his life at the site. The community response was immediate. A vigil with over 2,000 attendees honored the victims. The FBI is investigating the attack as possible domestic terrorism and possibly a hate crime, while probing Westman's motive. He left a letter highlighting despair and self-identification as a monster. Over at Capitol Hill today, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, many speaking publicly for the very first time, held a powerful press conference demanding the Justice Department release all the Epstein files. Despite already revealing over 33,000 pages, lawmakers and survivors say 97% of the material was previously public, and truly critical evidence remains hidden. Lisa Phillips, a survivor, revealed they are compiling their own client list, wary of legal retaliation but determined to shine a light on the full scope of complicity. Marina Lacerda, headlined as Minor Victim 1 in the 2019 indictment, has called for transparency as essential to healing. "We need the Epstein files to be out," she said. "We matter now." Republicans and Democrats stood united. Representatives Massey and Khanna are collecting signatures to force a House vote via a discharge petition. Marjorie Taylor Greene and others have signed on, emphasizing this is not partisan, it's about justice. Meanwhile, a former president labeled scrutiny a hoax. Survivors called it devastating, urging him and the public not to be silent. Last but not least, the 2025 SCO Summit, hosted in Tianjin from August 31st to September 1st, is the largest in the organization's 24-year history. It brought together over 20 leaders from Eurasia, the Middle East, and beyond. SCO members in attendance include China, Russia, India, Iran, Pakistan, and Belarus, with dialogue partners from across Asia and the global south, like Turkey, Myanmar, Nepal, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Maldives. Notably, leaders like Putin, Modi, and Erdogan engaged in high-profile bilateral talks. Just last year, Modi even skipped the summit, making his return symbolic. President Xi outlined his global governance initiative, calling for sovereignty respecting multilateralism and a multipolar world that challenges U.S. dominance. Leaders symbolically reinforced this emerging coalition. Putin, Modi, and Xi were photographed sharing warm camaraderie on the red carpet. Modi even shared Putin's armored limo after the meeting. Analysts interpret this as part of a broader strategy to counter Western alliances like NATO and the dollar-dominant global system. Putin framed the summit as a revival of genuine multilateralism. Xi warned against bullying behavior from the West and called for shared security aligned with UN principles. As this happens, U.S. President Trump publicly accused the trio of conspiring against America. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, was founded in 2001 by China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Its primary aim was to promote regional security and economic cooperation in Central Asia, but it was also designed as a geopolitical counterbalance to NATO and U.S. influence. Unlike organizations like NATO or the G7, the SCO is explicitly Eurasia-focused, prioritizing nations in Asia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. The U.S. has never been a member, nor has it applied for observer or partner status, largely because the bloc's mission often conflicts with U.S. strategic interests in the region. Rising U.S.-China and U.S.-Russia tensions, relations between Washington and both Beijing and Moscow are at their lowest point since the Cold War, with U.S. tariffs on China and restrictions on Chinese tech, sanctions on Russia over Ukraine and cyber attacks, military tensions in the South China Sea and around Taiwan. The SCO has increasingly become a platform for Global South solidarity against Western economic dominance, making a U.S. invitation politically unlikely. During the 2025 summit, Xi and Putin directly criticized Western bullying and American unilateralism, signaling a clear divide. Xi Jinping emphasized building a multipolar world order, a term used to reject U.S. global leadership and create new trade, security, and development systems outside Western influence. Initiatives like the SCO Development Bank, a proposed digital yuan trade network, and AI military tech collaborations are designed to rival Western institutions like the IMF, World Bank, and SWIFT. Inviting the U.S. would undermine the SCO's branding as an alternative to U.S.-led alliances. The SCO has 9 full members: China, India, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, Iran, Belarus, and nearly a dozen dialogue partners like Turkey and Egypt. Historically, Western powers like the US, Canada, or EU nations have not sought membership, viewing the SCO as oppositional to NATO. Not inviting Washington sends a deliberate message that power centers are shifting eastward. Leaders like Putin, Xi, and Modi appearing side by side visually reinforce that this was a summit of non-Western influence. The summit's timing, while U.S. domestic politics are distracted with elections and legal battles, also magnifies the symbolism of a U.S. no-show.